All right, let's take a deeper look at how you can do some modeling using these splines that we talked about. And in the last video, we looked at using like a pencil type tool. But I want to show you something that's similar to the pen tool that you used in Adobe Illustrator and how that can make even more precise shapes. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm in the normal perspective view. And I want to click here in this little corner here so you can see that there really are four different views, right? There's the 3D view, there's the view from the top, there's a view from the right side and from the left side. And sometimes when you're modeling, it's really more precise to look at the object you're creating from a view other than the 3D view. For example, when we're doing spline modeling, it's really helpful to start with the front view. So I'm going to make this the default window by clicking here. And now I'm really just in the front view. So there is a tool called the Spline Pen tool, which is a lot like the Illustrator pen tool. And it works the same way, sort of. It's a little bit different. Let's say I'm going to create something. I can click, and just as you did in Adobe Illustrator, you can click, and then click, hold, and pull, and you get these little, they call them Bezier handles. You get these little curves, right? And I can click and create shapes this way. Now, you recall when we wanted to change direction in Adobe Illustrator, we had to use the Alt key to be able to change the direction of these handles. It's a little different in Cinema 4D. We hold the Shift key. We want to change the direction, right? So I can click here, and I can click, and you'll see that it changes the direction a bit. So let's say I want to go here, and I want to pull. This is all pretty straightforward. Let's say I want to change direction again. I can hold the Shift key, and I can move this as I like, and you'll see. And then I can wind my way back here again to the beginning. Now, if I want to get out of this, I have to hit the Escape key to end it. And there I've basically made my sketch, right? So then I can go to what we did before. I go into the generators, and I'll go to the lathe, and then I'm just going to push this spline up into the lathe, right? So the lathe becomes the parent of the spline. Now, in the front view, it's kind of hard to see what's going on here, but I'm going to click here to look at all four of my views, and let's go back to the 3D view by clicking here, and then of course I can hold the 2 down to zoom out a little bit, holding the number 2 and pulling, and then I'm going to hold Option so I can spin around and take a look at this, and then you can kind of get an idea of what's happening. Sometimes it's really useful to then go back to all four views, and you can take a look at this, and you can also go back and edit, like you can click back on the points you've made and you can pull them around, right? Like you kind of did in Illustrator, and you can of course change the whole look just by pulling on your points again as you did before in Illustrator, and you can see how it's going to change it. It's really helpful to see your object in all four views, and you can kind of go back and forth depending on what you're creating. So that gives you a little bit more of what you can do with the Spline tool.